Once upon a time, there was a wicked little town of sex traffickers who specialized in producing and distributing child pornography. And everyone seemed to really like that wickedness and seemed to keep it well hidden. But then one day, around March 2021, the feds came in and they raided the apartment of someone who I was closely tied to, although I had no idea what they were doing. Nor did I hear about the raid, nor did the country, not the real raid. You see, what happened was really clever. The Department of Homeland Security decided to take over and lead the investigation and ensure that the true identity of the pornographer was never exposed, because that would disrupt the racket that they had going on. So, they, quite cleverly, found one of the key annoying whistleblowers, one of the principled people, like me, who they hate, and they decided that this would be an excellent opportunity to do their standard move when it comes to pornography of children, sex trafficking, stuff like that. Take somebody you hate because they keep putting light on what you're doing, get them entangled in some way, legally, and then get them incarcerated. Promote to the media that that whistleblower is a pornographer. Meanwhile, the business and the people really involved, their names are never shown. No one ever knows. So keep throwing the whistleblowers in jail for your crimes. Make sure the police and the judges and everyone are all in the know. Make sure you have contact, partnerships with the local federal prison so that you can do whatever you want and use the bribed cops to enforce your will. The media doesn't know. They know what we tell them. And they know better than to question it. We've got a system that effectively becomes a karma-swapping vehicle of injustice so that we can keep trafficking children and keep thriving through this abuse. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? I really wish I was making it up. But I was looking into a case that's about to have a hearing for sentencing on October 17th. It's a case of that pornographer who, if you look on the records, USA versus Ninfo, or now USA versus Rose, you'll see they talk about someone who downloaded pornography named Ninfo, who apparently was terrible and had all this stuff in his house. And if you look at the documents that they submitted on April 28th, about a month and a half later, the same day they issued the warrant and made all kinds of other claims, right? There was no raid at that time. They went through the paperwork and tried to portray this Ninfo as a bad guy. But they had no evidence at all. They knew nothing about this man. In fact, they gave wrong facts about him. They said he was originally from North Carolina. See, he lived in New York near Judge Ninfo, the bankruptcy lawyer, who actually had been disgraced. And I personally think was part of a sex trafficking operation, kind of like what they had. Can't prove that. But it's interesting how things played out, because you need a judge like that to get this ball rolling. You see, Ninfo had sued Bethlehem Steel Corporation, tried to get them to be accountable for killing his dad. They didn't like that too much. And I believe they partnered with his uncle Judge. Sure, some money was involved. Get the ball rolling to get him to shut up. Keep a seat warm for him in the prison for when the time was right. Well, now that there was this bust, they had to do something. So they got the ball rolling with the legal process for Mr. Ninfo. And he didn't even have a hearing or even know about it, I don't believe, for about a year and a half. They just tried delay after delay with his lawyer until the time was right. Then, apparently the time got right around the beginning of this year. And it seems they sent for him and brought him to the address they said he had been living at in Providence. Interestingly, I looked up that address. The only names associated with it are Coralia Palazzo, a correctional officer, no doubt involved in the scam, and Victor B. D'Angelo. See what's going on here? They bought this place. Someone from the prisons and Victor B. D'Angelo from Homeland Security got it nice and ready to transport Ninfo all the way from his home in New York so that he could be ready to take on the karma for the real pornographer. But something interesting happened in this case. In July, it seems Ninfo, a 6'7" man, according to the initial reports, he never actually talked with anyone involved in this process after 2 years of them establishing legal documents. Anyway, they apprehended him apparently, kept him in that prison house they bought for him. How sweet. And then, in the middle of July, this terrible pornographer, who didn't know anything about it and has no history of doing anything bad, suddenly makes a statement that he decided that he's a woman and he's going to change his name legally to Haley Lynn Rose right before sentencing. So apparently Ninfo decided he wanted to be a woman, and rest assured they created a new social security number and identity so that there really is now a Haley Lynn Rose, who is a man who's about to be sentenced to a plea deal, having already agreed that he was guilty, or she. It's a done deal. Nothing left to do but go into that court and walk out. Nothing to say. That's convenient, isn't it? Well, here's the interesting kicker that I just found out. I'm like, who is this Haley Lynn Rose then? I was thinking maybe they're gonna lock up the one who actually did the crime. We all know who that is. But no. Turns out they want her to be me. Haley Lynn Rose, a gender-changed woman who's going to serve out her sentence in a female prison with a wink. And they're all so excited. They just need to pull the trigger with a local partner, get me incarcerated and shipped there. I'll never be able to speak out. They got me by the balls, they think. Well, they probably don't think that anymore. This happens over and over, my friends. Let my example show what's really been going on. There are partnerships like this. They've got it down to a system all over the country. I will expose it. I just did. And you can remove this video, but you can't remove the truth from your heart and mind, because I have a gift. The ability to speak to anyone and everyone about this. The ability to make this story travel far and wide in the media and make everyone involved a high-profile example of low-life losers who don't know when to give up. So keep continuing after this if you'd like. The more you do, the better story it'll make. But I'd suggest those of you who are wise, join the team of the light and expose this. That's the only way you're going to come out of this with anything resembling a win.